across the country, everybody is saying the similar thing, essentially, saying, President Trump, don't sell us out. Because the people in Iran are terrified that if there is a deal, then obviously you are throwing a lifeline to the Islamic Republic. The IRGC is getting weaker and weaker, and the Iranian people simply want to finish their own uprising. They don't want any sort of Western forces to liberate them. This is their fight. They are simply asking the West not to deal with the Islamic occupiers because they are not legitimate as a government. They are the occupation, and also you are simply making it harder for us to finish the job. That's what they are saying. But obviously some people are not too happy about what the people inside Iran want. So there's this other thing over the last couple of days, because Netanyahu made a couple of videos and he obviously posted on social media as well in terms of everything that's been going on, especially in terms of what the Islamic Republic are continuing to say during the negotiations about Israel. So while the US and the IRGC are talking, and the Iranian regime tell the Americans, well, yeah, we don't really want a nuclear bomb, we just want nuclear energy. Inside Tehran, the Supreme Leader continues to say, we have to wipe out Israel. It's not a slogan, it's a policy. That's what Netanyahu said in this video.
Today, the dictator of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, posted this. The title is, "Why must the Zionist regime," that's Israel, "be eliminated from the region?" So here you have the ruler of Iran openly declaring, again, that his goal is to destroy the state of Israel. And the most brazen thing about this is that he issues this while he's supposedly negotiating peace with the United States. Well, Israel will not be eliminated. What must be eliminated is Iran's axis of terror and its nuclear weapons program, not only for the sake of Israel, but for the sake of our entire region and for the sake of peace in our world.
That's the thing. One main concern a lot of people had was war with Iran. Nobody's saying war with Iran. Even Netanyahu is not saying that. And there's no expectations from the Americans to go and take over Iran as a country. This is simply about not doing a deal with a bunch of Islamic terrorists. Don't do a deal. Continue the maximum pressure policy. Continue with the sanctions. Allow the Iranian people to finish their own job. It's their revolution. They don't need any sort of intervention in that sense. And but obviously there's this rhetoric that's going around because of the Al Jazeera and the BBC saying, oh, President Trump wants war with Iran. Netanyahu wants with... There are a lot of people in Iran who say we wish, but that's not actually the case. But as I said, these talks seem to be falling apart anyway. In The Spectator, we had Damian Phillips actually writing this very good article yesterday saying that the US-Iran nuclear talks are doomed to fail. Now, I'm just going to show you one section of this article because at the end, the final paragraph, it says, the US-Iran talks are doomed to fail because they fall into the trap of compartmentalization in Iran's nuclear development as separate to all its other activities. It is all part of the same malign strategy pursued by a regime which has shown time and again that it doesn't want peace. The sooner the West realizes this, the sooner we can take action to eliminate Iran's nuclear capability and the regime along with it. The time for diplomacy is over. So that the second sentence, actually the first sentence, is the key point. President Trump actually said himself, and I agree with him, that it's not really just about the nuclear facilities. It's also about the ballistic missile program and everything else that they've been building, which is, we know what they want, long-range attacks. As part of these negotiations, one thing that the Americans are also saying, or have been saying, not necessarily Steve Witkoff, but President Trump, is the Islamic Republic must also stop any sort of program, even if it's not nuclear, any sort of program that they're going to be using to attack Israel or America or Europe. Now, obviously, the Supreme Leader of Iran says, no, I don't care, we're not giving up any sort of a long-range military program that we have. Now, you don't need that if you want to defend your country. Now, part of your defense program, you could have whatever you want. But we know what they want to do with their long-range programs because they want to attack Israel and Europe. and one day the US. I mean, they can never attack the US with any actual impact. It's like a mosquito on a cow. But that's not the main issue. It's the principle that you have a regime that continues to say we will wipe out the West, the US and Europe and Israel and everybody else. And they continue to tell us, by the way, this is not a slogan, it's a policy. And they continue to target Americans and Europeans. They take them hostage. They kill so many of them. Over the last few decades, so many lives have been lost because of the Islamic Republic, an actual enemy. But yet we're still not really saying that the solution is to go and take over Iran, because that backfires massively. It's simply about making sure that the regime suffocates. Don't throw them a lifeline. Don't make a deal with these guys, because it's getting close to the end. Why would you help them towards the end?